Hello, welcome to Ruckosaurus Rex, the channel where we review and discuss all things dinosaur and other prehistoric animals. How you guys been? We're about to tackle another PNSO offering and another PNSO Tyrannosaur. This time I am happy to bring to you number 70 in the line, Keynes or Keynes, however you can pronounce that. That's not the important part. What is? It's the Lythronax. I love that name. Anyhow, you see what we got going on. This is number 2 in a series of Tyrannosaur offerings back to back that PNSO has given us. They seem to be on some groupings, at least with their theropods. We got 3 straight Carcharodontosaurs, and now we're working on 3 straight Tyrannosaurs. And I know it's at least 3 because we also have a Daspletosaurus, which will be the next review after this one. And rumor has it that we're going to get an Albertosaurus and a Gorgosaurus. And I can tell you guys right now, you see I just said that this was number 70 and the Daspletosaurus is number 73. The rumors are that we're going to get those other 2 Tyrannosaurs, and that would fit right in between those 2 numbers. So I guess we'll wait and we will see. Anyway, you see the packaging right there. You've got a digital render of the model right there, and the same thing would be on the other side as well as on the side there. And then we have an image of the Lythronax model at the top. So that's how it goes down. Without further ado, let's get to it. As with all PNSO offerings, we get an accompanying book of information, and it has illustrations and like I said, information, some educational information for the kiddies, and some nice images of the model. And sometimes you get some illustrations of other dinosaurs. Right now we're getting just everything is the Lythronax that we're seeing in here, showing the feet, the forelimbs, etc., the tail, and then of course, you know, more things. Talk about the head and the binocular vision and everything else. So yeah, so these are always pretty good to get. We also get, as part of it, the accompanying poster, and as you can see, we've got it's of the Lythronax. It looks pretty nice. It looks pretty nice, but I liked it better when we got posters of illustrations of the animal in question in its native habitat. Now all they're doing is giving us images of the model itself. To me, that's cheaping your way out of it. And these particular models, they cost they're kind of pricey, so you know that's that's no bueno, PNSO. Finally, we get, when it comes to bipedal dinosaurs, we get the accompanying stand to help keep your model upright, because there is a penchant for it to warp, and especially in the summertime, and we're in summertime now, so you guys prepare for your models to start tipping over. And here's our Lythronax in all its glory, giving you a roundabout view, 360 degrees on our rotating base, so you can see all of the Tyrannosaurian goodness that we've got going on here. Very nice figure. I think you guys, I've said it before on this channel that theropods are my favorite, my favorite grouping of dinos, and the Tyrannosaurs are, of course, at the top of that list. And don't get me wrong, I love all dinosaurs, so when I say that theropods are my favorite and Tyrannosaurs are at the top of that list, it's not like it's by some huge leaps and bounds gap. Something's got to be the favorite though, right? Anyhow, let's get our boy Keynes, I'm going to call him Keynes, off the base and take a more detailed look at the Lythronax. First thing we'll do is take a measurement. I already know what the size is because there's been a slight bit of controversy regarding this particular model, but we'll get into that right after we officially take the measurement. And yeah, so our Lythronax, is about 10.5 inches long. The controversy is that, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but it bears mentioning, the Daspletosaurus is also coming in at 10.5 inches long. Now, the reason it's controversial is because we only have one specimen of Lythronax. Okay, so let's get that out the way, and it's fragmentary at best. We've got some leg bones and I think a piece of the spine, as well as the head. I think we just have like the lower jawbone. I could be wrong about that, but you know how the scientists are. They're able as best they can to extrapolate and ascertain. They can discern what the possible size of, at the very least, that specimen is. So that specimen came in at 26 feet. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what the average size of a Lythronax was. It could have gotten bigger. That's what we're telling ourselves when it comes to this particular model. And the reason I'm saying that is because at 10.5 inches, that translates to just a little bit above 30 feet long. And at 10.5 inches, that's what the Daspletosaurus, the upcoming Daspletosaurus, is coming in at, and they were estimated to be 30 feet long. So, I mean, for all intents and purposes, this guy should have been probably an inch shorter, you know, if we're going to go by that 26 feet. But once again, we only have one specimen, and it's fragmentary, and I think it was considered, they're able to tell if it's adult or subadult or anything like that. And after you get to a certain size, you know, it could be considered adult. You know, for all we know, it is an adult. It could be female, and males grew a little bit bigger. You know, as with all prehistoric animals, speculation is our friend, quite frankly. Looking at what we got going on here, though, for our Lythronax, looking at the coloration, you know how PNSO is. They are in love with brown and brownish things. This, however, has got a hint of green in its coloration. We'll get closer up and we'll see that. Everything, like from the neck back, is it's kind of greenish brown, if you will. And now here we go, looking at that skull. You can see, I mean, from a million miles away, you can tell straight up that this is a Tyrannosaur. There, you know, when they got past the early Cretaceous and got up there in size, there was no doubt. You can always tell a Tyrannosaur. They were terrorizing from end to end the Cretaceous period. And when I mean terrorizing, I mean it's crazy. If you do your research, you'll see that wherever there was a ceratopsian, there was a Tyrannosaur of some kind. And no matter where, even in the cold parts of the world, we had Pachyrhinosaurs were in cold spots. And what was right there with them? Nonoxaurus. So it's just crazy, and they've got some evidence, I believe, or at least speculation, that it grew larger than any specimens that we found up till now. That would be great to get a Nonoxaurus too. So anyhow, looking at our guy here, who's getting jealous because we're talking about one of his cousins. Let's talk about him. You see the head, they've got the, meaning PNSO, they got the head in a kind of an upward gait, stance, looking to go along with his gait, his walk. And it looks pretty nice. I'm going to turn it and tilt it so you could see the head, and there it is, that the standard binocular vision of a Tyrannosaur. These guys were definitely designed to be, for lack of a better term, the ultimate predators. At least for back then, the ultimate land predators, I should say, because you can't take anything away from sharks. Megalodon, anyone? Anyhow, you see the coloration on the snout. The head itself has got like an orangey or a very light brownish type of hue. You see the eyes. He's got the black on the eyes, and the eyes themselves are like gold with black pupils. And you see what's going on with that snout. Pretty cool. Top of the head, he's got that crest going on up the ridges above the eyes, and looking pretty cool there. As always with PNSO, their theropods are lipless, and there's no difference here. You see the teeth, and they look pretty good. And speaking of the teeth, always come with articulated jaws, does PNSO's theropods. And you see that right there, looking in the mouth. Very nice wet look, pretty cool. Try to turn it up so we could see what's going on top side. And as always, PNSO gives us that beautiful attention to detail. The ridge of the mouth, the roof of the mouth is wet, and you do have holes signifying the nasal passageway. Going down, you see that we start to get, it starts to transition. We've got some darker brown striping going on, and starting to transition into that greenish color I told you guys about. This is definitely one of the color-wise better offerings from PNSO, not just a straight drab brown that they're known for. So you got, like I said, you got the green mixed in there, and it gets a little bit more green when you get to the belly, the rib cage over there, and you got the spots, almost leopard-like when you look at it. Then you look at the forelimbs. As always, you know, symbolic of a Tyrannosaur. They're short. He's got the sharp claws, two-fingered claws there, painted very nicely. Getting back, looking at the hind leg, you see that left leg is pushing off. In fact, the feet, you see right there, PNSO put it in a pose where it's definitely pushing off. And the gait is pretty wide, so this is a very active pose. So I like that. You see the skin stretching right there, and you got wrinkles, pretty nice. The scalation is, you know, more of the smooth kind. PNSO has definitely corrected that ever since Wilson 2.0. They've gotten better, if you want to use that word, with the scales. I mean, that's subjective. Some people probably love the large, bumpy scales of Wilson. Me, I loved Wilson when it came out, but then when they came out with Cameron, I found myself favoring Cameron a little bit better. We'll see Cameron a little bit later. Going down, you see right there that we start to transition to a kind of gray for we go down to the feet, the ankles, and everything else. And there's some very light scoot action going on. The front of the feet, the claws, painted black. Then looking at the tail, it's going down. It still has that greenish coloration going on, and it melts into a very brownish, creamish brown color, I guess. You see the stretching of the skin back there at the hind limb, and then you've got the tail tapering, pretty nice. Go to the other side, and we work it back up, as you can see. Now we're at the right leg pushing off, or landing, I should say. Not pushing off, but landing. And same thing, looking pretty nice. Going down, the Lythronax is turning slightly to its left, so pretty cool. And then once again, coming up that neck, you see it's got some like a reddish brown going on right there around the neck. Then turning to the underbelly, cream colored underbelly with some coloration going on there. And there is, see if you can see that guy where my thumb is. There is the cloaca right there. So poop chute inspection complete. And that's what we got going on for our Lythronax. And to give you an idea of the stages of Tyrannosaurs as they just continue to grow and grow and grow. Lythronax, if we go by the 26-foot estimation, that's more or less the beginning of the, we'll call it large Tyrannosaurs, because it made its way to the other side of 25. And if we go by the 30-foot estimation that we're just, or I should say guesstimation, because we're basically hoping, just for me, for the sake of this model, that it grew to 30 feet, just, to massage my OCD and being a stickler for accuracy. And that would be considered a large tyrannosaur or meat-eating dinosaur. And now look what I've got standing behind it. We have got the Zhucheng tyrannus, which was larger. This guy is estimated to have gotten up to and including 38 feet long. And look how big that sucker is. I changed up their positions and opened their jaws and came back on, something I normally don't do, show the same comparison twice in the same review. But I think it bears mentioning that with both these models, you gotta love the posing that PNSO has done. We've got with the Zhucheng tyrannus, the left foot lifting off there, or maybe even settling down, right? So that's pretty cool. And then of course the Lythronax, the left foot is launching, so to speak. So yeah, I'm loving that. And now of course we've got Big Daddy himself, Cameron, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which kicked off this, at least for right now, as far as we know, trifecta of Tyrannosaurs. And like I said, they just, who knows how large they could have possibly grown if the meteor didn't hit. Of course, having said that, a lot of scientists speculate that in order to be effective predators, they would have only been able to grow to a certain size anyway, which kind of makes sense when you think about such carnivores like the Carcharodontosaurs, the Giganotosaurs, in particular, Giganotosaurus, Mapusaurus, that were more or less equivalent in size to Tyrannosaurus Rex, and they were up there in South America, basically chilling with, without a doubt, the largest land animals to ever walk the earth: Titanosaurs, Argentinosaurus, Supersaurus. The list goes on. Even though it's been speculated that Tyrannosaurus Rex may have lived with Alamosaurus, which was, comparative sizes to Argentinosaurus, Patagotitan, etc. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy because I was like, no one ever mentioned any sauropods when you talk about Tyrannosaurus Rex. With the exception of a few hadrosaurs, it was the biggest thing in its ecosystem. And now here's a look at all three lined up, so you can see the growth pattern. Incredible. And I'm going to start having a checklist posted on one of my walls here, so I can stick to the script. When I reviewed the Rebor Diplodocus the other day, I neglected to do the human animal comparison, and if there was any cause for that comparison, it would have been for that, so you could see exactly how large a sauropod, 1/35th scale sauropod, is compared to a 1/35th scale human being. But what we've got going on here is that that same 1/35th scale human being right there lined up with our Lythronax, so you get an idea of how large that was. And once again, I'm just totally floored because Lythronax wasn't anywhere near the biggest, but look at the size of it compared to a human being. And in summary, PNSO's number 70, Keynes the Lythronax, I'm very happy to have added this to my collection. You all knew from the beginning, you heard the glee, my elation just saying the name, Lythronax, one of my favorite dino names. I've got an affinity for names that don't end in Saurus or Don or Raptor, So if you're Saurophagonax, Lythronax, Suchomimus, you know, Baryonyx. I guess the X's have it for me, huh? Anyhow, you get my message. You get what I'm saying. This particular model looks great. I love that PNSO got out of their comfort zone with the coloration on this critter, and it definitely makes for a very nice looking visual. The pose very dynamic. You could see that this animal was stepping lively, which is great. You know what I'm saying? The legs are far enough apart that you can see that it was moving relatively swiftly. So that's pretty cool. Anyhow, this is number 2 in our Tyrannosaur journey. Daspletosaurus is up next. Like, share, and subscribe, guys. And thanks for being here with me through this journey. Take care.